The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Before the feast of Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to pass from this world to the Father. He loved his own in the world, and he loved them to the end. The devil had already induced Judas, the son of Simon the Iscariot, to hand him over. So during supper, fully aware that the Father had put everything into his power and that he had come from God and was returning to God, he rose from supper and took off his outer garments. He took a towel, tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and dry them with the towel around his waist. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Master, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered and said to him, "What I am doing you do not understand now, but you will understand later." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered him, "Unless I wash you, you will have no inheritance with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Master, then not only my feet, but my hands and head as well." Jesus said to him, "Whoever was bathed has no need except to have his feet washed, for he is clean all over. So you are clean, but not all." For he knew who would betray him. For this reason, he said, "Not all of you are clean." So when he had washed their feet and put his garments back on and reclined at table again, he said to them, "Do you realize what I have done for you? You call me teacher and master, and rightly so, for indeed I am. If I, therefore, the master and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet. I have given you a model to follow, so that as I have done for you, you should also do." The Gospel of the Lord. He rose from supper, took off his outer garments, took a towel, and tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet. This was a service normally done by the lowest. And this service God himself did for his disciples. He showed them and us that there is nothing too humble for us to do to one another. Because greatness is only reached through service. I'll say that again. There is nothing too humble for us to do for one another. Because greatness is only reached through service. This might seem confusing to some in a world that teaches the opposite, or at least looks at service as something that we try to fit in, maybe once a year when we have time in our real life. Jesus is saying service and humble action is our real life. Because greatness is only reached through service. And that is because service strengthens our belief in him, our relationship with him. What do I mean? Belief does not mean blind acceptance. It never has. Belief has always meant commitment to. This understanding even affects our creed, as not saying we blindly accept, but we commit to one God, the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. It is subtle, conceptual changes like this which opens the door to relationships with the one who loves us. It is all about belief, all about committing to. And we see this in our daily lives. People who blindly accept beautiful aspects of the faith can go about their lives unchanged, as if nothing amazing or revelatory has happened. Jesus is the Son of God. Oh, I know. Can you pass the salt? God loves you infinitely. Oh, I know. Can you move out of the way of the TV? This is what blind acceptance does to us. We cannot have a relationship with things we blindly accept because we do not make them part of us. We do not commit to them. We keep them on the periphery, uninvestigated, unpondered, blindly accepted. But people who commit to these teachings, who change their lives because of them, those people understand that belief is a journey of service, a journey of commitment to the teachings of Jesus lived out through others. This is what Jesus means when he says, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say to a mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Faith the size of a mustard seed is the smallest possible amount of faith. Faith is just trust directed towards God. What is the smallest amount of trust that we can think of? It is simply the decision we make to trust, the commitment to trust. Therefore, commitment to is the same as saying the decision we make to trust. Faith as small as a decision to commit to Him will move the mountains in our heart which we thought were immovable. And when we serve, we are committing to the teachings of Jesus. We are believing in Him. Service, defined as our commitment to living out the teachings of Jesus through others, strengthens belief, defined as our commitment to Him. This is why greatness is only reached through service, because service brings us closer to the one who loves us. In today's gospel, Jesus is showing us that committing to His teachings, believing in Him, is shown in service to others, because faith without action is dead. Holding our faith isolated within us is dead. Not sharing our trust in Him with the world is dead. Commitment to a cause forces us to engage with that cause. Blind acceptance of a cause only requires a comment or two, maybe once a year, when we have time in our real life. Jesus offers His service as a model for us to follow. Not necessarily washing feet anymore, but the realization that there is nothing too humble for us to do for one another. Because greatness is only reached through service. Greatness is only reached in commitment to living out the teachings of Jesus through others. Greatness is only reached through belief in Him. Trust that. Have faith in that. Commit to that. Now, in a few moments, we will say the words, and Jesus will come. It is my prayer that at a reception of the Eucharist this day, we may commit to the one who loves us.